Oh. All right, so we'll get started in a second. Let everybody trickle in. If y'all would go ahead and please type something in chat so I can see that y'all are here. You can do it private to me or in general group. Either one is fine. Just need something with your name on it. So first little reminder, you guys have a test online right now that is going to close tomorrow at 5 p.m. So please make sure you have done at least one of them. If not, give all of them an attempt. Over chapter 5. Woo! That was fun. So yeah, make sure you have taken that. And otherwise, we will continue on with where we were at. Oh.
Quick question.
Yes?
Where do we locate the test?
The same place as all of your other assignments on WebAssign.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks just like a normal. Let's make sure. So it looks just like a normal assignment. But it will. It is timed, so remember that there is this little clock over here, so don't open it unless you are ready to go. But you have 3 attempts. So, yep, just give them a shot, and yeah, best of luck to you.
So we have, are those tests like the 3 attempts, or there's 3 attempts within all 3 of those tests?
No, those are your 3 attempts.
Okay.
Yeah, they are separate. And I take the highest of the 3. So if you just do 1 and you're happy with it,
Period.
great. But if you need all the attempts, then that's fine too. And the rules for how tests work and stuff like that is also on your e-learning resources page. So there's a little document that says online tests. So feel free to check that out. All right. So, last time we were doing this thing called law of signs, and it is basically a tool that allows you to completely solve any of these kinds of triangles: angle, angle, side, angle, side, angle, or side, angle, side. So the way, again, you count this is you start at the first letter. Let's say AAS, we start at some angle. So if we have this angle, and then we need the next angle, and then this side. So angle, angle, side, or angle, angle, side. You can go around either way. You could also have angle, side, angle. And you can have side, side, angle. So these are the 3 options, 3 different kinds of triangles that you can use this law of signs thing on. And the law of signs just says, again, that the ratio of any side to the sine of the corresponding angle is always the same within any triangle. So side A divided by the sine of angle A equals side B over sine of angle B, side C over sine of angle C. So this is law of signs. Well, if there is a law of signs, then there's probably a what?
Law of cosines.
Exactly right. Yeah. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. And again, these are all about solving a triangle. And this is true for any triangle. So that means it's also true for right triangles. But this is the law of cosines. So the law of sines had some triangles that you could solve with it, but it had some that you couldn't. So the law of cosines is for solving triangles that have side, side, side. So if you know all 3 sides, or side, angle, side. Okay. So to me, the most common one, and this is if any of y'all are going to take physics with me, pay attention to this thing, because if you know how to do this, and remember how to do this, it can save you a lot of time and headache when you have need for physics. And I'm pretty sure everyone who takes this class will end up having to take physics So that should be all of them. Very, very, very helpful bit of information. Okay, so side, angle, side. So I'm going to say that we have side A, angle C, and side B. This allows us to find side C. And this one is pretty easy to remember because it starts off very familiar. Law of sines that says that C squared equals A squared plus B squared. What is that? What's that?
The Pythagorean theorem.
The Pythagorean theorem, and it only works for right angle triangles. So we can add a little something that allows us to do this for any triangle. The thing that we add is this thing. So just real quick, if you ignored this cosine piece, what is a squared plus b squared minus 2ab? So if I were to just write that, we'll write it in a slightly different order. What is that thing? Can anybody factor that for me? So this is like pre-algebra or like first month of algebra class stuff.
All right, so bring out the -2.
Can't take out the -2.
Would it be a squared plus?
So
Would you subtract the a squared like to make it all equal 0?
well, it's not about equaling 0 because it's not an
Okay.
equation. It's an expression. So we can factor this into two things being multiplied together. So I'll give you that one. What do you have to multiply a minus b by to get this?
Would it be a plus b?
No, because a minus b times a plus b is a squared minus b squared. Oh my God. So it's A minus B. So this is A minus B squared. But I guess we'll take a pause on going into where this comes from. So this is law of cosines. So C squared, so this side, equals this side squared plus this side squared minus 2A times B cosine angle C. So it seems like a lot kind of at first, but it's really just the Pythagorean theorem. And I'll show that to you here. Okay. So what is angle C in this triangle?
90.
90. So what is cosine of 90 degrees?
0.
Exactly. So if you have a right triangle and the side that you're looking for is this one, then this whole piece goes away and you're left with C squared equals A squared plus B squared. So the Pythagorean theorem is really just a law of cosines for one very specific case. So it's actually way better to remember this one, because even if it is a right triangle, you'll just plug it in and it goes away. So this is definitely the one to remember. All right. So law of cosines: A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine C. So there's two ways you can go about this. And I like this as the standard form. But you could also, if you're one of those people who likes to memorize a bunch of equations, you can memorize this in terms of the angle that it's being solved for, because you might need to find this angle and not the other side. So if you solve it for cosine C, well, we want to subtract, or I guess add this to this side and subtract this from this side. So you get 2AB cosine theta equals A squared plus B squared minus C squared. Okay, so all we did is we added this thing to that side and subtracted the C squared to this side. Well, now we want cosine C by itself, so we're going to have to divide this 2AB, and you get this. So if you're looking for the side C, then you might want to use this one. If you're looking for the angle C, you use this one. And remember that this kind of goes cyclically. I'm not going to write out all of the different forms, but I will pull them up and show you real quick. but really it's all the same equation. So this is the three different forms. If you're solving for side A, then it's a squared plus equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine A, or for B, whatever. But this is the basic form, okay? And then the alternative form is on the other side. But it's all really the exact same equation, just with all the letters switched around. So I would not suggest trying to memorize all the different versions. Just understand what the one version means. Save you a lot of time. All right, so let's do an example. So we're going to do a side, side, side. And it's not going to be to scale, and that's okay. 8 feet, 19, 14 feet. Oh. So let's solve this. And again, it's not to scale. I mean, I recognize all three sides look about the same size, but the numbers don't look the same size. So just understand that, be comfortable with it. Okay, so what are we looking for?
Angle C.
Okay, we can
The
look
angles.
yeah, the angles. So we're looking for angle A, B, and C. All right, so which angle do we want to find first?
C.
You want to find C first? Okay. Well, we can just plug this stuff in. So cosine C what goes in for A?
8,
What about B?
19,
And C?
14.
What is A?
8 times 19.
All right, very good. So throw it in our handy dandy calculator. We get 19 squared minus 14 squared. 229 divided by 304. And if you do the arc cosine of that, sine, I get 41.12. All right. So got C. And let's do A. So cosine A. What we got the time? Equals. So how do we set this one up?
Would this be b squared plus c squared minus a squared?
Yeah. So it's the other two minus this one. So A is 8, so it's 14 squared plus 19 squared minus 8 squared over the first two. 2 times 14 times 19. So 14 plus so I get 621 over 532 and arc cosine of that. Oh no, I did my calculation wrong. Get 493. And from that, I get 22.08 degrees. Yeah. Okay. So with that, we'll just say 22.1 and 41.1. So what is angle B?
Would that be 8 squared plus 14 squared?
Cosine B is 8 squared plus 14 squared minus 19 squared over 2 times 8 times 14, which is negative 101 over 224. If you do the arc cosine of negative 101 over 224, 116.8. So this is an important thing to note, because it's weird that we got a negative for our cosine thing. If you get a negative out of your cosine, that means that the angle, does anybody know what it means about the angle?
Are you talking about the sides? Like, what do the sides reflect on the angle?
Okay, you could say that. You can only get a negative if what about the sides? So it only can only be negative if this one is bigger than both of these squared. So what does it mean if one side squared plus another one squared equals the third one squared? What situation is that?
It's positive.
It's basically like, does it mean like two sides are the same, but then one isn't?
So
Like on the triangle?
if you had a squared plus b squared equals c squared, that would be the same thing as saying that a squared plus b squared minus c squared equals what? So if we start with this, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Where does that come up? At the beginning of the lesson, what did we say that was?
Pythagorean theorem.
Okay, and where does the Pythagorean theorem only apply?
Right
Right
triangle.
triangle.
So if this is true, then C is 90 degrees. But a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Subtract c from that side of the equation and put it on this side. So you get a squared plus b squared minus c squared equals what?
Negative. I feel like I know this, but I'm having a block. Zero. No, it will be zero. Okay.
What is 5 minus 5?
0.
0.
Okay.
If x equals y, what is x minus y?
0.
If a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then what is a squared plus b squared minus c squared?
0.
0. Okay. Woo. So if this is true, then angle C equals 90 degrees. But if the thing you get out is positive, or no, okay, or greater than 0, then angle C is less than 90 degrees. So if the thing you get out is negative, it means that the angle is bigger than 90. So a squared plus b squared minus c squared, something to 0. If this is greater than 0, then angle C is less than 90 degrees. If this thing is equal to 0, then angle C equals 90 degrees. And if it is less than 0, C is greater than 90 degrees. And that's what we see. So for the first two, we got positive numbers. That one, and I already erased the other one. And the angles were 0, or not 0. The angles were less than 90. For the last one, we got a negative thing. And if it's negative, that means that the angle that you get is going to be greater than 90 degrees. But there's an easier way that we could have done angle B instead of going through all that business.
We
What?
could have just like added A and C, and then that's what I did. And
And then done what?
And then subtract the answer you got to 180.
Yeah. So we know that A plus B plus C equals 180. So that means that B equals 180 minus C minus A. Yeah. So we're about to leave. Please make sure to get your test done. But this is the law of cosines. Yep. So you guys have a fabulous weekend. We'll see y'all on Monday.